Hello, everybody, and welcome to Short Pit, a NASCAR podcast. I'm your host, Kaleb and Chesney. Alongside me down in the corner over there is Chris Prince. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Just dandy. And as usual, we have BR and Cam with us after I would say, pretty solid race down in Florida from Homestead. After the Straight Talk Wireless 400, your winner, Kyle Larson. First time one of us has gotten a pick right this season. Gonna pat myself on the back a little bit, not really. We'll go over that. We'll go over Ryan Blaney and his bad luck continuing. RFK really performing great outside of the boss man himself, Brad Keselowski in the sixth. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about should and if this racetrack will be the home of the Cup Series championship or NASCAR championship races for down the line. So we'll go over that, give our drivers of the week, our terrorists of the week, and then we'll just jump right into next week's race in Martinsville. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. Cam, I'm gonna start with your guy down there, Ryan Blaney. He before this season, I think the stat is he had 5 engine failures before coming into this year. And his last one being the 2018 Coke 600. And now he's already got 2 on the year, one in Phoenix and one in Homestead, where both times he was arguably the fastest car on the track. Uh, you're a Blaney fan first and foremost, and secondly, you are a NASCAR fan. What do you make of Blaney's just horrific luck so far?
I mean, as a Blaney fan, I'm not surprised. It's just kind of what's happened to him his whole career. But in terms of like an NASCAR from like an objective perspective, I mean, it's just odd. I mean, none of the other Fords are having that problem. None of his teammates have had that problem. I guess Logano had that weird little like electrical thing in the 500, but he continued and was fast afterwards. So, I on that from that note, I have no idea. There's something that in the engine dyno that they are not isn't synced up. But I mean, in terms of the luck, I mean, I'm as a Blaney fan, I'm used to the biblical bad luck on his end.
BR, kicking it to you. What do you make of Blaney's engine just exploding 2 times after not doing it for what the math would be about 7 years?
Yeah, if if anybody in the Cup Series was going to have this issue, it makes sense that it was Blaney. But yeah, it's very strange. I'm not an engineer. I couldn't tell you what's going on over there, but I'm sure there's someone who is making a lot more money than me to figure it out, and he needs to get on his horse because he or she might be out of a job soon. If they don't figure out what's going on here.
Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind. I mean, they've kind of said it. It's weird. I mean, it kind of makes me think of the Ty Gibbs incident, but I don't think was his back to back last year, or was it? I think there was a race or two between his where he had a. I feel like a span of like engines
Yeah,
expire
there
on
was
him.
Pocono, and then there was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was right in that range. I remember. It's just odd for sure. And like Cam kind of said, none of the other Fords really seem to be having any like major engine issues, even in like the small practice sessions or qualifying. So I think there's someone definitely getting their job performance sheets done a little bit differently this week over there in the engine shop. But I'll be interested to see going into Martinsville because they drive those cars a little differently with the shifting and stuff. If something happens again with him or another Ford for that matter.
Yeah, I don't think the long term consequences of 2 races being wrecked out and or engine failures, what have you, is going to affect Blaney too. I think he's going to get a win at some point. Like he's just that good. He's that fast in just about every race so far this season. But it hurts to see it when he's the fastest car in both races and just can't make it to the end because of matters out of his own hands. But
If he
yeah,
makes it to the end, the race with him and Larson, that would have been entertaining to watch.
no,
Just
for sure.
on even tires and stuff like that because Blaney did basically seem to have the fastest car, but Larson obviously is Kyle Larson. So
No, it would have been tough right down in the end. But yeah, let's get into another team here, another Ford team actually, Team RFK. Ryan Preece finishes 9th. Chris Buescher finishes 6th. Preece kind of having a masterclass of a season so far. He's got a top 5, 2 top 10s, 3 top 15s, a high finish of 3rd last weekend at Las Vegas. As for Chris Buescher, in 6 races, he's got a top 5, 4 top 10s, and 5 top 15s. The only race where he didn't finish all that great was Atlanta, where he finished 30th. But the 60 and the 17 looking really strong so far, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the 17 seems to be like, well, I mean, you would say he's the leader right now because Ryan Preece just came over, but Preece is definitely picking up the performances as of recently, which I'll give him his flowers. I didn't expect him to really perform this year in that car, just it being a third team, even though it's RFK. But I hadn't really been impressed with Preece in his career either, right? He's never really gave me a reason. In his defense, yeah, he probably hasn't drove equipment as good as what he's in right now either. But still, I mean, I saw him more like a short-term option, and then him locking in those 2 top 10s in the last 2 weeks. But it's pretty good for him. And then obviously, I think what you got to look at with Brad is it's kind of the inevitable downfall, right? We touched on it with like Hamlin with my preseason predictions. It's coming for it's going to come for a veteran driver. It's inevitable for all of them. We've seen it happen with Jimmy Johnson. I feel like Harvick was really the only one who was consistent recently. Cam, maybe you could kind of touch on that. Besides like Jeff Gordon making it in his retirement year, you don't see those guys like right before they retire, even Martin Truex, stuff like that. They just have like a downfall, whether it be just it's the race gods, as you want to call it, telling them it's their time to hang it up or what. But I think that could be what you're seeing with Brad there, especially considering the other two are doing so well.
All right, Cam, what do you think?
I mean, I think Chris kind of hit the nail on the head with it. I mean, it's just like, I think it's twofold. I think Priest, in a lot of ways, in terms of his performance, I just think he's been in some shit boxes over the course of his career, and I think he's finally in a car that suits him. One thing I've really has impressed me is his runs on 1.5 miles. Like his background is in pavement, modify, short tracks. Running the car on the edge on 1.5 miles is not his forte, and he's running really well on those two. I mean, Chris Buescher has gotten to a point where, I mean, I just would love to see at this point in his career him on like a really top team, because it seems like they can roll off the truck really slow, and it doesn't matter. He'll end up in the top 10 by the end of the race, and it doesn't matter what track you're at. I mean, he qualified like what, 11th or 13th or something, but like he didn't look fast at all on Saturday. And
yeah, he started 11th.
Yeah. And then with Keselowski, I mean, yeah, I mean, it all comes for all of them. Like, yeah, Chris is right that like sometimes you have a Gordon or you have a Harvick with that kind of go to the end being competitive, but it's all relative though, because I bet you if Harvick ran for like 3-4 more years, he probably would have fell off too. It's just whatever their falling off line is. Some guys get out before they hit that line, and some don't. And I know a lot of Jimmy Johnson fans would argue that he was never the same after his crash at Pocono in 2017. So, I mean, it's all relative. It's all of like when that line is. And I think Brad's line of falling off has started a couple of years ago, and we're finally just kind of seeing the off ramp. But frankly, as a co-owner of the team and having 3 cars and 2 performing really well, not sure he cares.
No, for sure. And he did finally get the win as the driver owner last year at Darlington when Reddick ruined his employee teammate Chris Buescher's day. But Keselowski so far on the year, he's got 2 top 15 finishes, P11 at Las Vegas and P15 at Coda. Otherwise, P30, P26, P33, P39 in a wreck at Atlanta, and P26 at Daytona. BR, any thoughts about Team RFK?
Yeah, I mean, both Cam and Chris have knocked it on the head, on both fronts with both the team as a whole and Brad. I really got nothing to add there.
Very good. Let's go into the big question. Should this be our championship race? Obviously, the guys on Door Bumper Clear gave out this rumor, this little tidbit that there's a solid chance that this is going to be the championship race in 2026. We've obviously known about the idea that this could be a floating championship going from Homestead to Vegas to Phoenix and kind of just bouncing around there. BR, I'll start with you since I ended with you last time. What do you make about Homestead returning to the championship?
I'd like to see it. I mean, it's always a fun race when we go there. It's always a race where the top guys really, establish themselves as the top guys in the race. I think it makes too much sense to not happen. Granted, we are talking about NASCAR, so too much sense to not happen tends to not happen more than you'd like to see. But I hope it happens.
Chris, kicking it to you. Homestead Championship. You love it?
Yeah, absolutely. Plain and simple. No other way. I actually, like, when we were discussing this topic for the show this week, I wanted to go look it up because I was curious. In comparison to the championship race at Phoenix, right? 16 different lead changes among 9 drivers. Sunday's race, we had 27 different lead changes among the same, 9 drivers. It makes sense. I would love to hear someone maybe that would argue against it just to see, because the racing product I feel like is superior right now with the car. Plus, it's just a more exciting race overall. Phoenix kind of can get boring. Other than this past one, I will say the tires made a difference. But nonetheless, yes, agreed. I think this is where the race should be.
How about the idea of a traveling championship going from Homestead to Vegas to Phoenix?
That'd be interesting. I could get behind that. Harvick kind of threw that out into the air a couple of years ago too, about moving it around. That would make, be kind of beneficial, right? Like other sports do it with the World Series and the Super Bowl and stuff. Move your championship crowning event around, give different tracks the chance to benefit from it. Even though I think those 3 are pretty much all the Smith ran tracks, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, either or would be good. But yeah, I think I'd like Homestead a little better than Phoenix right offhand.
Cam, what do you think?
I mean, I'm in favor of the kind of floating. Obviously, like if you're gonna nail down one, I mean, I'm with it's got to be 90% of the fan base that wants it in Miami. But yeah, I mean, floated around. I know, like the other half of that DBC rumor that you kind of touched on was they were saying that Homestead next year and then Vegas the year after, which would make sense. Chris brought up an interesting point that I guess I hadn't thought of. Is I believe if I'm memory serves, Homestead and Phoenix are NASCAR owned tracks, and Vegas is an SMI track.
Okay.
So how they're going to make that happen, like if they're going to make a deal with SMI where like we get one, then you get one, then we get one, then you get one. Maybe it's like that, but that's going to be a wrinkle. Another wrinkle is they've been very clear that they're talking about changing this playoff format. So, if they decide to get rid of the one race championship, which frankly I'm very skeptical about them doing, but if they do that, then maybe this conversation's a little moot and the finale is just the finale. But no, I mean, I don't like Phoenix being the championship race anyway, but I definitely don't, unless they decide to make the call to make the option tire at the soft tire. I don't want to make a championship race at a place where you have to use a different set of tires because the racing is so horrid. But yeah, I mean, my only fear with a floating championship race is they're going to look at Atlanta Motor Speedway like the Green Goblin mask. But other than that, though, yeah, I mean, a floating championship race I think would suit everybody. I think it would allow NASCAR to put it where kind of they want to put it at times, but also go to the tracks that fans want to see. So I feel like it's a nice compromise position. I feel like I'm not married to the idea of Miami being every year, even though I would enjoy it every year. Vegas is a good track, etc. So
no, for sure. All right, so we kind of blew through the Homestead coverage here. Did we miss anything? Does everybody want to touch on anything that happened this week? Or,
I mean, just the fact that we saw another great Homestead race. I mean, this place never disappoints.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I think that's kind of the case too with the mile and a halves recently. Whether that be the car or just whatever, I'm enjoying most of these intermediate tracks. It seems like more lately.
And we'll be kicking it right back to short tracks this week with Martinsville. But before we get there, we got to give our awards this week, our drivers of the week, our terrorists of the week. So let's just kick it off with the happy and the positive, our drivers of the week. Cam, I'm going to start with you.
I'm kind of gonna take the low hanging fruit here, and just take Larson because I mean, it felt like for a lot of the race he was just fighting that car, and then when it finally got into the window he wanted it to be in, he was just, I mean, he was passing cars like they were standing still on that last run. Um, the only reason it felt like Bowman had anything for him at the end is because he had clean air and Larson didn't. No disrespect to Bowman, but like when he was able to get that car tattooed to the wall, it was over at that point. And like Chris said earlier, had Blaney's engine not blown up, it'd have been really interesting to see because Blaney, even though he does run the tops at times, he notoriously is one of those guys that doesn't um uh run the fence at this place. He tends to run more a groove or two down, and he makes his speed there. So it'd been real interesting to see how that happened. Obviously, him trying to do that in the last corner didn't work last year, but like it'd have been nice to see that at the end. But Larson was just so fast at the end of that thing. I mean, guys running in the top 10 were just like almost felt like they were getting out of his way.
No, probably should have had the sweep, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Chris, who's your driver of the week?
Yeah, I'm actually I like Larson. Larson was a good choice. Off little thing here. Did you guys notice on the TV broadcast his like right rear fender is like you could see the separation of the panels from where he just wore it out on the wall?
Oh
Yeah.
I just really wanted to know if I was the only one, but yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Boyer before it, rare Boyer success on making a statement was like he's gonna test the thickness of that composite body today, and he really did.
No kidding. Yeah. But my driver of the week, I'm going with Bubba Wallace. Led 3 different times, 56 laps. I mean, he had a solid performance. I like the radio traffic too between him and Freddie, where they were talking about him still in the lead, and he was like, "Good job, dummy. You're pulling away." Like, I just love that interaction with NASCAR drivers and their spotters. But yeah, I mean, and then he got the point for the fastest lap of the race too. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with Bubba Wallace in the 23 car this week.
Oh yeah, great run for Bubba Wallace for sure. Exactly what you want to see from him. BR, who's your driver of the week?
We already talked about him briefly, but Ryan Preece, he's another top 10 at a mile and a half track. I mean, if you're RFK, you got to be over the moon with what you've seen from him so far this season, especially the last 2 weeks. So I'm gonna go with him.
Nope, all great picks for sure. Nope, gonna save it. I'm gonna go with Bubba Wallace as well. I was really impressed with his day and his calmness throughout the entire race. He got shoved into a wall and didn't freak out, didn't lose his mind. He just kept racing and he ended up P3. Definitely overachieved my expectations, and I definitely see him doing big things moving forward, including maybe even getting a win. So that was really good for him. Shout out to the 23 team. And we'll move on to our terrorist of the week. Cam, I'll kick it off with you again.
I mean, I kind of have to. I feel like I would be remiss if not to name the Penske engine department as the terrorist of the week, because I think I gave it to him already at Phoenix, but this was worse. I mean, at Phoenix he was running like 8th and it kind of fallen off a little bit. I mean, guy was literally holding himself back off the battle for the lead because he was so fast and waiting for the moment, and then all of a sudden he blows up on the front stretch when he was flat out. Like, he wasn't even under braking or anything. He just blew up while being flat out. I don't know. Hopefully they can figure that shit out. I don't know.
For further information, you put the voodoo that Blaney has as your terrorist of the week at Phoenix. So, BR, going to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Cam. I mean, it's a shame they must have the Costco guys there with the way these engines bring the boom.
So he's had 5 big booms total, and now he's got
Yeah.
another 2.
Yeah, sorry about your engine. Here's 5 big booms. Anyways, I'm going to agree with Cam and go with the Penske engine department.
Chris, who are you going with?
Yeah, I could go with that one and just make it unanimous if you do as well. But I'm gonna fanboy out of here a little bit. The NASCAR officiating tower for penalizing Chase there late. Like I know, like it's black and white for some rules, but like come on, like you said, this was perfectly logical. He just pulled over so he didn't run into the back of the idiot in front of him because they all piled up and he got penalized for it. So, I'm going to go with my fanboy complaint of the week this time.
So I haven't seen this, or I haven't seen the clip of it. So I'll try to find it.
Yeah, I was watching the onboard camera when this happened.
I mean, I'll mention a non-Blaney terrorist real quick while you look that up. The Fox broadcasting on that call when Bowman got in the wall and Larson got by him, they were calling that like they were watching their kids play t-ball. Like that should have been an all-time call.
The broadcast all day was awful. Like even for those standards, it was pretty terrible. Like they had a battle for the lead with Bubba and such. They go to a full commercial, not even side by side, and then we get to a commercial, a caution, and they're like, now we'll do a side by side when nothing's happening.
Is this it, Chris?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Okay,
should be. I don't think he got another penalty.
Yeah. So we come in.
He is a little wide.
He's a little wide because they backed out, or they were all backed up. His reasoning was logical. I'm with it. Maybe I'm a little biased this week, but that's my terrorist of the week, the NASCAR officiating tower.
Alrighty, my terrorist of the week is going to one Sam Mayer for robbing Kyle Larson of his weekend sweep. So I can really say that this was a belt-to-ass weekend, even if the race wasn't belt-to-ass. Just getting right up and lifting his car off the ground on that final restart. Absolutely squandering what could have been an awesome weekend. Hasn't been done since Kyle Busch did it twice. Just robbed us of a really cool moment. So going with Sam Mayer. Your driver of the week this week by the numbers is Bubba Wallace, and your terrorist of the week by the numbers is the Penske engine department. So shout out to you guys. If we had a trophy, we'd send you one. But for now, it is what it is.
What would that trophy be?
I don't want to get into the ideas I have for the terrorist of the week.
Yeah.
That could get us canceled, couldn't it? Canceled before we ever got started.
Like, I guess for the Penske engine department, we could get a car bomb trophy of a car exploding.
Yeah, give him some Northern Irish cancel culture.
Well, check out my last name there. If anybody has the pass, and then driver of the week can just be your generic trophy. You did it. Thumbs up.
Good job.
But yeah, Martinsville expectations. Cam, your guy's pretty good here.
I mean, as good as anyone here, but I say I could. I don't know if that's gonna matter. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. The spring race is always a little tamer than the fall race, mostly because the pressure of the moment is different. But I mean, if they bring the same tire that they brought in the fall, it'll be a good race. I felt like it was in the fall between the 5, 9, and 12 with the tire fall off. It was a really good race. Yeah, I mean, considering how fast he's been, even at tracks he's not usually fast, I expect the 12 to be excellent on Sunday. But it's hard to blow an engine at Martinsville, but they might figure it out.
No, I was saying if anybody's going to. He's got the best average finish, a 3.5. Next closest is Joey Logano with a 5.2. Blaney's got 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and in every race he's finished in the top 10 since 2022. He's led 182 laps. Just a stud. He's going to be the odds-on favorite when I pull up the DraftKings Sportsbook. But overall, like you said, a little bit less pressure in this race. BR, what's kind of your expectations?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited for it. Martinsville is always one of my personal favorite tracks. I always enjoy the racing here, even though Cam is correct about spring race being a bit tamer. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun race. I'm excited to see how Ryan Blaney gets fucked over.
I was looking into it, see if they're bringing 2 tire compounds or just one for this race. It looks like that they are just going to be using the soft tire here and calling it an evening. Chris, what's your expectations?
Yeah, I'm excited for a short track for sure. Like Cam said, the fall race was really good. So the softer tire compound, that's what they're going with. I'll be excited to see it. But yeah, it's a little tamer, so I don't expect to see like the aggression. You'll probably see bumpers and people moved out of the line late for the win, but ultimately I think you might see some bumper cars, a line of bumper cars, depending on how the race goes.
Last year, our team at Hendrick Motorsports finished 1, 2, 3. My guy finished like 8th or something. Yeah, it was a historic day for Hendrick Motorsports and their 40th anniversary, having those ruby red cars, all that fun stuff. But it looks like it's going to be more business as usual for just about everybody. Let's get into our DraftKings Sportsbook segment here, where I go through the matchups and the groups, and we'll pick who's who. Matchup number 1. William Byron versus Denny Hamlin.
Byron, I mean, Hamlin was good at Phoenix though. So,
He was good at Homestead too.
Yeah.
True. I mean, but it doesn't really. I was more like for track on that, but Hamlin's so historically good here, but like Byron, when's the last time you've seen him finish like lower than like 6th at one of these?
I could answer that for you. The fall of 2023, he finished 13th, and the spring of 2023, he finished 23rd.
Yeah, off year, but Hendrick just always.
Yeah, I feel like in both those races, like the first one, he had a bad car, and then the second one, like he was sick as hell.
No, you said 2023, right?
Yeah.
No, that was just a bad car. If you remember, they rolled off awful, and like the whole race, Rudy Fugle was like you just have to stay where you are. It happened back-to-back years at Martinsville where rolled off with a bad car in 23, and then 24 he just blew the tires off of it and it was like holding 8th or 6th or whatever it was.
But he's got 2 wins here. The first race of the next gen car in 2022 led 212 laps. And in the spring last year, he led 88 laps and finished first. Yeah, William Byron could be the pick here. As far as Denny Hamlin, he hasn't won here since 2015, and
it's crazy because back then he used to be like him and Jimmy Johnson were the top 2 picks at this place. Anytime you were to.
If you went to Martinsville, it was Johnson or Hamlin there for a long stretch of time. So it's very interesting to see that he hasn't won there in that long.
10 years.
But since the fall of 2022, he's only had 1 finish outside of the top 5. So
yeah, he was always there. He just, for whatever reason, can't finish.
Yeah. As is his championship hopes, right?
Apparently.
Ross
Chastain versus Kyle Busch.
Give me Busch just for Martinsville purposes, and I don't know.
I don't think either one of them are going to be fast, to be quite honest with you. RCR,
Ross, since the wall ride, has 1 finish inside the top 10.
Yeah, and RCR, their short track program, other than when they stole information with Austin Dillon once, has been diabolical with this car. So I don't even know. I'm gonna go with
Kyle
Ross.
Busch hasn't finished. He's had 1 finish inside the top 20 since moving to RCR.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick Ross because that 8 car has been nowhere on any short track ever since he went to that car, except the first year when he won Gateway, which we can debate if that's a short track. But
and again, because of a Blaney blunder, not his fault, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm going with Ross Chastain as well. The next one, Austin Cindric versus Alex Bowman. I'm not sure why this is a matchup.
Yeah, I'm going Bowman.
I'm not even being sarcastic. Cindric ran in the top 5 here the entire day in the fall, and Bowman has not been historic. I mean, he won the one when he punted Denny into Maryland, but like Cindric ran really well here in the fall. Like I'm just doing this so if I'm right, I can talk about it next week. But don't be surprised if he wins this matchup.
No, he did finish top 4 in the fall. He finished
Yeah.
4th, 23rd before that, and 9th in the fall in 2023. Seems like he's got something solid here, but all in the fall.
Penske always runs well here, so we'll see. Also, he did just straight up pass William Byron on speed at the end of that race. He was like the last car to pass him before, or it was Hamlin, one of the two, where they were like, "You can't lose anymore," and then the Chevys, roadblock for him.
Alex, for reference, P13 in the fall, P8 in the spring last year, P32 in the fall in 2023. I feel like something happened, like he lost power steering or something.
There's no way he was P32 on speed. There's just no way.
In the fall there, and then P11 in the spring. So I'm going to take my guy here pretty confidently, but we'll see. All right. Kyle Larson versus Ryan Blaney. I want to take Blaney because like this track just doesn't feel like a Kyle Larson track, but he's got 4 top 5s here since the next gen car. Only one finish that was below 3rd in the fall of 2023. So maybe this matchup's a little closer than I give it credit to.
When Larson won it the first time, after that he seemed to figure this place out. Like he identifyingly was awful here for the longest time, and he won it the one year and has been good since. So considering all the other external factors, it's kind of a toss up.
Give me Larson.
He was runner up at the Hale Mellon race, and then 1, 6, 2, 3.
Yeah, he figured it out. I don't know what happened, but he figured it out.
It would be a Larson, like typical type Larson thing to go and like stink up the show after winning Miami.
No, like wrecking at Martinsville.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna take my guy because like this is his best track, but I mean, he's gonna find a way to. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
BR.
I'm
like, you've been awful quiet. Let me hear your pick.
Yeah, no, I'll take Blaney, I guess.
Can't blame me. I'm doing the same thing. Seabell versus Chase Briscoe.
I'm gonna take Briscoe. I mean, the 19 car was always pretty good here, with Truex and so on. And Briscoe historically, I looked this up. He's done really well at this track, in the Stuart Haas in a Stuart Haas car. So I'm gonna say him because it feels like Bell is starting to fall off a bit after that, 3 back-to-back run.
Yeah, he was the cause of the first caution at Homestead with the spin, and I forget where he finished in Vegas.
You didn't hear nothing from him after that spin either. Like he was just non-relevant at all.
That is a whole different conversation. With this new car, since like
P12 at Vegas,
it is hilarious how they just spin and don't hit anything, and sometimes it's fine, and sometimes they're done. There's no rhyme or reason.
What if I told you guys that there was 8 spot difference in average finish between Briscoe and Bell?
I'd buy that. It's 8 spots, flat spots.
Briscoe is an average finish of 8.7 with 2 top 5s. Seabell is 16.8 with a win, but 1 top 5.
Oh, I thought you meant in general.
No, just the 8 spot difference at average finish here.
I mean,
that's crazy considering the type of equipment that Chase was in compared to Seabell, but also I feel like Martinsville is more of a driver's track, so you can kind of equal out the equipment there maybe. But that is kind of surprising to me.
Seabell, since his win in 2022 in the fall, P22, P35, P7 in the fall of 2023, and P16 in the spring of 2023. And I believe in the spring race last year, he had an issue.
It's really weird because you would think that this track would suit Christopher Bell like a glove, but other than when he won, he hasn't been very impressive here. Like you would think flat mile, half mile oval, but I guess maybe you can't really run it on the limit here. So I guess that's maybe part of the problem. You know, I'll run with BR. Let's go with Briscoe. Why not?
I'm with you guys as well. Briscoe's numbers here. He's only finished one time outside of the top 10. It was P15 in the fall last year. Otherwise, 10, 4, 5, 9, and 9.
Yeah.
Really good. Okay. We got one more matchup, then we'll get into the groups. Chase Elliott versus Joey Logano. Chris, I'm just gonna like pitch it right to you.
You don't even have to pitch it to me. I'm not gonna pick Logano, and that's nothing. There's no way, shape, or form I'm going with my guy there. I just don't think Logano's going to show up in the spring race. How's he? I mean, I haven't looked, so tell me, sure, how has he been in the spring races?
I mean, I don't know about the spring.
Logano in the spring race here, P2, P2, P6.
Yeah, well, there you go. He'll probably beat Chase's, but I'm going with my guy.
Doesn't he? You might have read it off earlier, so apologies if you did. But does he have like the second highest average finish in the next gen car here?
Yeah,
he does.
And
yeah,
as much as
I genuinely like the guy, especially more than his teammates. I mean, Chase Elliott. I mean, I just would like him to show like really good raw speed somewhere. Like he can run on those long runs and get up, past guys and end up in the top 5, 6, 7. But it's like he never seems to like finish there.
Elliott is on a heater as far as races in Martinsville. Last year, he finished P2 and P3 respectively, and only had one finish outside of the top 10, which was the fall of 23, where he finished 17th. Otherwise, 10, 10, 10 since 2022, and then obviously last year's runner-up and third place finish. I'm going to take Logano here, but it wouldn't shock me at all if this is the race where Chase Elliott kind of kicks his own ass and pulls something out of the hat that we haven't seen yet this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the 9 just because Hendrick seems to show up in the spring race more than Penske, but like it's just going to be a matter of which one shows up today.
Yeah, I'll go with Kaleb and Logano, I guess.
All right, even split. Now for the groups. Group 1, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott.
I'm taking Larson.
And the rest of us took Blaney when it was Blaney versus Larson, so I assume we'd all probably stick with it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take Larson.
No, I mean, that's fair.
Group B, William Byron, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Chase Briscoe.
Billiam.
Yeah.
Is
I want to go Briscoe there.
Yeah, that's like where my head is. Like, I kind of want to take Briscoe at plus 350.
I'm going to take Briscoe.
All righty. Me and BR going for the home run hit at plus 350. Group C, Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Austin Cindric.
There's a good chance all 4 of these cars suck. I just wanted to put that out there. But I picked Cindric versus Bowman last time, and I don't think the other 2 are going to be good, so I guess I'll stick with Cindric.
Yeah, I don't think the other 2 are going to be great. So,
I'll take Alex.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with Alex just because of the HMS.
Yeah,
he's pulling out a lot of great runs so far at a lot
on
of
tracks that he's not been great at recently too. I have to say,
Phoenix and Homestead, 2 tracks where he's like, I don't want to fucking be here, and he's pulling out top 10s.
Fair point,
including a runner-up finish last week. So I'll take him. I'll keep on the hot streak. BR, who are you going with?
I guess Bowman. I don't know.
And Group D, Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski.
Ryan Preece.
I lean Ryan Preece as well, but Bubba Wallace, not particularly bad here, not shabby.
No, but Ryan Preece ran top 10 here in the 41 multiple times.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I kind of wanted just for the way Barry's ran this year because this is a track that really suits him. Plus, it's kind of like the Penske affiliate car. So, like, I really kind of want to see how he does. But, yeah, I think I'm probably going to go Preece.
I'm taking Preece as well. BR?
I'm going to have to take Bubba. I'm not taking my guy.
Bet on the heater. I'm with it. You can bet on Bubba Wallace at plus 260. All these guys are plus 260 to beat the other. I feel like we should maybe knock Brad down a little bit, put him at plus 300. But those are your matchups. Those are your groups. You can go bet on those at DraftKings, the official sports book of me and Chris's weekly picks. But now it's time for the weekly picks. Chris, I'll start with you.
I'm gonna roll with Larson this week. I don't know. It's just something tells me like Hendrick shows up here. I don't know. Again, Cam kind of said it earlier in the spring. They always seem to show up here. He did, come to there late and win Homestead. I just feel like maybe he's gonna stink up the show this week. If he doesn't stink it up, absolutely, I do still feel like he's probably gonna win.
BR.
Okay, this is gonna be a bit out here. Chase Briscoe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
He has good results here. The 19 car has good results here. It feels like they felt something out, figured something out last week. I'm gonna say that this is the breakout performance in the 19 car Briscoe gets.
Plus 1,200 for Briscoe as the race winner, plus 350 for a top 3, and a plus 150 for a top 5. Cam, going to you.
I feel like I'm damned if I do or if I don't with this, but like, it's been the fastest car all year. This is his best track. It would be anti-intellectual, in my opinion, for me not to take the 12.
Ryan Blaney, I believe I said he was going to be the favorite, and he is a plus 400 for a race win, a plus 130 for a top 5, minus 165 for a top 5.
10.
That leaves me. My preseason pick, when I did the exercise of running down the race and picking the drivers all before the Daytona 500, has me taking Christopher Bell. I don't feel comfortable with that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust. I'll take William Byron to get back in victory lane one more time. Another win for him in the spring. That would make it 2, I believe. So, yep, our weekly picks. BR is going Briscoe. Ryan's going, Cam's going Blaney. I'm going Byron, and Chris is going Larson. You can get Larson at plus 500. You can get Byron at plus 700. So that's that. Did we miss anything before we sign off?
No, we didn't miss it, but it'd be kind of cool because this. I think maybe Chris said it. This is the type of track where he could do it if it suits him. Imagine if Josh Berry ripped off a second win before we even got to April.
That would be amazing.
That would be yeah.
I don't know if Harrison Burton would hear the end of it from us.
That one guy who was upset at us on Twitter for ripping into him the last time Barry won. He would really not like.
He said that we can't judge Cody Ware as a bad driver until we get him in good equipment. I'm like, okay, let's put Danica Patrick in that 5 car, and let's do that before we call her a bad stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. Hey, look, you can't judge my basketball abilities before I become 60.
All right. But yeah, that's that. If you guys are interested, I believe on Thursday, Kyle Busch is racing his kid Brexton. I think it's one of those
Millbridge.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like midget cars that they're racing, the 18 and the 51 on dirt. You can go to Kyle Busch's Twitter and find that. That's pretty neat. But otherwise, Chris, what do we got coming this week?
Have the power rankings out maybe before Friday again. I did it last week, so we'll see if it happens again this week. And then mine and the wife's show, that'll be a new episode dropping this week sometime. TBD. Other than that, then we'll have our picks on Belly Up Sports.
There we go. I will try to get 3 Up, 3 Down done tonight. I took an hour nap before we came on the show, so I should have enough juice to put that one out. But Cam and BR, any nice words for the fine people at home?
I apologize to the person who I just picked on a few seconds ago.
No, he deserved it. He absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely deserved it.
My comments to the people are everyone prayer circle for Ryan Blaney's engine this week.
Yeah. We gotta keep that thing protected. Otherwise, Cam BR, thanks for coming on again. We will see you after the paperclip at Martinsville. You can catch that. I believe it's a FS1 race again.
Yeah.
Green flag at 3:00. Should be fun. So we will see you all next Wednesday. Thanks for watching Short Pit. Yeah, let's go.